Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to your Taroscopes for the new moon in Pisces on the 13th of March, tomorrow as I'm filming, so hopefully I'll get them all out on time. As ever, this is a little introduction about the new moon and what I've got to say about it, which is not a lot this time. And then there's a timestamp in the description below to fast forward to your reading. The reason I do this is because I advise you to watch three of them: your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. And if you don't know what your moon and rising signs are, there is a link in the description down below just so you can get yourself a free birth chart. There's plenty of sources, websites online that you can get that from. Now, as ever, I would like you to ask a question prior to the reading. So have a think about, while we discuss the moon, or pause the video if you need to, have a think about all the questions that are floating around you at the moment and focus on one of them. I mean, definitely pause before the reading, just to spend that moment of focus. And be aware of all of them, though, because the cards will answer what they please, and not necessarily what you or I think are the highest priority issues. But yeah, this is a new moon at 23 degrees Pisces. It's the last of, I think, 6 new moons at 23 degrees of whatever sign they're supposed to be in that month. Supposed to be, that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. The first thing that jumped out on me here is, well, the new moon is moon conjunct sun, as we all know. And this new moon at 23 degrees Pisces is smack bang on Albert Einstein's sun. So not a new moon in his case, but I really just like that image of, if you think about part of his identity that we all know, is his ability to think things through, to reason, to ask questions. And this is what I think this new moon is about. Watching a lot of the astrologers' videos, which I have yet to actually post on my Facebook page, link down below, I'll talk about that in a minute. But a lot of them are saying this new moon is not so much a time about setting intentions this time. That's for the day after, couple of days after, 3 days after of the new moon. It's more a case of planning to set the intentions, working out what you need to have in place for you to make your mind up about how you're going to proceed further. So another way of saying that is a way to clear space for setting the intentions. So clear space indicates all the old tropes of letting go and, to a great extent, forgiveness. So if there's anything you need to work on forgiving, now's an ideal time to do it. I probably have a few things on my own list. Now, this is emphasized even more by the degree angel. At 23 degrees Pisces, this degree is ruled by the angel Manakel, who represents accountability and the knowledge of good and evil. So with that knowledge of good and evil, there's that is good for me, that is not good for me, that is just downright evil, that's just not good for me. Both of those two things we can get rid of now, hopefully. Also, Manakel is ruling Mars this time. So it's 2 planets Manakel's ruling. Mars is quintile the moon, which, if I remember correctly, bear in mind I'm not an astrologer, but indicates a creative force between the two of them. So our emotions and our urge to jump forward and do whatever are linked creatively, almost mystically. Now, Saturn, you may recall in my full moon reading that I did 2 weeks ago, Saturn was sat there listening to the moon while the angels were running around, sort of an angelic court, going, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" And Saturn's going, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't understand." Saturn this time's not even talking to the moon. No aspects between the moon and Saturn whatsoever. There is one between Mars and Saturn. Let me look it up. I forget off the top of my head what it is. Yes, there's a harmony between Mars and Saturn this time. So, as in a trine aspect. So hopefully that Manachel's discernment, understanding, the thinking as shown by Albert Einstein's son, will get transferred into some form of action that Saturn can approve of, because Saturn still remains the ruler of the chart. On that note, you know how I like my looking up astrology of the first appearances of comics characters. This is also on Lex Luthor's Lilith and Lex Luthor's Mercury. So while we're in this era of Neptune in Pisces, which again just conjuncted with Venus, but more on that in a second, or is coming up to the conjunction. I think it's coming up to the conjunction. I meant to check it before I started filming. Yeah, we've just had Sun conjunct Neptune, and we're going to Venus conjunct Neptune. Really, same day. So, near as damn it. But the Lex Luthor, Lilith and Mercury, we've got, with Lex Luthor, we've got that symbol of thinking, working things out. Okay, he had a few agendas that maybe you and I might not agree with, but he was very good at communicating things and swaying public opinion. Positive and negative there. Because Neptune in Pisces, obviously, delusion, illusion, imagination run riot, obsession. And yeah, I wouldn't trust anything Lex Luthor says one way or another. So there may be more public narratives that we would need to question, but there's also that sense of people using their own discernment and making space for the new, and being aware of all the factors that are popping their head up, saying, before you make your plans, what about this? What about that? Don't forget about me. Don't forget about this thing over here. Now, also in Quintile, we have Mercury and Uranus, ruled by Rahel, who is known as Diamond in the Rough, and is also attributed to filial submission, the submission of children to their parents, for example, but also a dispenser of longevity. So Mercury in itself, in its post-shadow phase, we've had loads of things brought up to us yet again that we can now let go of. That's the idea of the post-shadow phase. The diamond in the rough makes me think of vague plans. Vague plans that you're going in that general direction, but you don't have to firm up the details yet. You don't have to cut that diamond just yet. It's beautiful as it is. As for the filial submission, yeah, I don't know. It's there. I thought I would mention it. I've no idea how that one is going to. That could be on a very personal level for people, or it could reflect the drama going on with the royal family. There's definitely generational issues occurring with this new moon that helps us determine the way forward, hopefully in a positive way. I'm feeling pretty positive about this. I mean, people will say it's Pisces being the 12th sign is very similar, but not the same. I must stress it's not the same as the 12th house. So in terms of isolation, I don't want to say isolation. I want to inward looking study, really examining that which is within us. But we've got quite a stellium here in Pisces because, what is it, Sun, Moon, Venus, Neptune. So that's a lot of power. Obviously with the Venus-Neptune conjunction, appreciation of beauty, mysticism, maybe beautiful illusions, and you will see various astrologers talk about the the beautiful love and relationship aspect. Can also be relationship to things that we value. Um, but this new moon is wonderful for, like I say, preparing to set your intentions. Let old things go, focus on what you love, and work out how what it is you love is going to carry you forward, what passion you want to follow. I said I'd talk about the Facebook thing. Link down below. Like I said, I share normally. I haven't this last week, but I think you'll understand that with you've seen the intro bit already. I normally post the videos of all the astrologers that I follow and whatever else that I find on YouTube that is in this vein of beautiful woo-woo. But it's also got a personal inbox. So if you want a personal reading from me, obviously watch the reading first so you can judge whether you want this or not. But if you want a personal reading, that's a way to get in touch with me. You are more than welcome to comment down below. I try to respond to all of my comments. Not always on time, but I don't hover over the computer. But I always like to try and respond. And it's interesting to know what you think. It's interesting to know that it's reassuring to know that the readings that I am doing are hitting home somewhere. Because in taroscopes, there's 3 layers to them, I think. There's obviously me doing the reading for a zodiac energy. Then there's you, the viewer, finding the readers that you... Oh, I've forgotten the word. I was going to say synchronize with, but that's... Nope, can't remember the right word. But the ones that you vibe with, the ones that you resonate, that's it. The ones that you resonate with. And then you have to apply the reading to your own circumstances if it sounds relevant. Absolutely and totally and utterly discard it if it does not sound relevant, because this is not a sort of form of mundane tarot reading. The reading either is for you and you'll be able to hear that, or it's not. Go and watch your rising sign, go and watch your moon sign. I mean, new moons, full moons, go and watch your moon sign always. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, because it really does help. I'm still aiming for that magic 1000 yet. So anything you can do to assist with that will be greatly appreciated. And like I say, before I bring up the cards, just remember that one thing: ask a question first. And I think that's everything that I've got to say. I actually thought I had nothing to say about this new moon, and I've not said a lot, but I think that in and of itself is significant, that it's this space. Pisces can be about rebirth. So it is this space, like the creative void before the word, that we are able to set the directions of our own rebirth. Or at least, being a tarot reading, because I'm always talking about new beginnings, because that's what the cards do, this month's rebirth. So I hope you're all well, and I will bring up your cards. Cheers. Okay, Gemini. Well, Mars is in your sign now, as you're probably well aware, and makes his appearance here as in the first oracle card, full moon in Aries, ruled by Mars. A fiery climax approaches. Now, looking at these cards, this is a... You're not going to believe this. This is a time of magic for you. This is a time of change for you. This is a time of growth, definitely. The reason I say you're not going to believe it is where you are at the moment. We have the 5 of Cups, loss, sorrow, or as it says here in the Thoth Tarot, disappointment, clarified by the 5 of Pentacles. Traditionally can represent poverty, but can also represent guidance. And with this being the tarot of the new visions, and they're all back to front, it can represent shelter as opposed to, say, seeking shelter. When you see the boy and girl and one of them on crutches on the outside of the church, here we have someone looking after their child on the inside of the church. And we know it's raining and snowing on the other side of that window because we've seen the A.E. Waite deck. So there is a sense of loss, a sense of disappointment. Things have not worked out the way that you had hoped, and you have lost faith in some, to be honest, in some relationship. Now, bear in mind, whatever this relationship is, it doesn't need to be a significant other. It could be with a job, or it could be with a hobby, a way of life, a belief, whatever. But either way, whatever it is that you were having the relationship with, you had lost faith in it. And you're wondering whether to take a chance on a better place. How you are feeling. Wheel of Fortune with Six of Swords. So there's I'm seeing that urge to move, to get out of there, wherever that there is. Bear in mind, I don't necessarily mean moving house. You could be changing job, you could be changing social circle, you can be, if it's a hobby or an interest, it's going to a different area of the library. Like, instead of artwork, you're going to go and look at history instead. You know, there's whatever this relationship is that has felt so very hollow recently, because you charged into it believing it was the right thing to do. And what I want to say to you from what I'm seeing here is, it was the right thing to do. It absolutely was. Because I feel with this High Priestess, there was stuff that you learned on this journey that you would not have learned any other way. You couldn't have gone a different path and learnt the same lessons. So this is a positive thing. But this sense of loss of faith is actually an obstacle to you. So, two options. The relationship that you've lost faith in, have it cease to be. Or look at ways to re-engage that faith in it. And the reason I say that, because normally I'm quite happy to, snowflake generation, what can I say? Turn it all away. Yeah, no, that's it. Cancel, got you cancelled. No. We've got, as the final outcome card, the Two of Cups, clarified by King of Cups. So that wonderful sense of unity that you are emotionally okay about, that you are emotionally resolved about. This is where I need to be. So there is obviously a relationship that needs redefining, quite possibly by taking the chance on going to a better place, having that urge to following that urge to get to a new hill, a new vista, a new practice, maybe a new person. And what I'm going to suggest is going to sound absolutely horrible. You know that thing that's stressing you out? You know that thing that's causing you the greatest amount of anxiety? Run directly towards it. We have, in the path that the energies that you are going into, Eight of Swords, which in many of my other decks, yes, there's the tying yourself up and being locked by your own anxiety, and unable to free yourself. Apart from, you need to notice that there's only the you that can do it, and you can actually do it really easily. But this is also what Spirit is bringing in. What Spirit is bringing into the situation, we have the world, or in this case, the universe. Spirit is bringing in a sense of completion, a sense of this stage is complete, because it is time now to have a victory. I assume this is Six of Discs. Yeah, it says discs there. Here, labelled success. Now, success I would match with victory and think Six of Wands. But success, Six of Discs, is seeing the value in the situation, seeing the value in what you have achieved so far, clarified by the Nine of Wands. So, yeah, you're nearly there. And yeah, you're tired. And yes, it hurts. And absolutely it should, but you are nearly there. With the loss of faith in a relationship being the obstacle to you, I would say keep going. What you really need to do is keep going. There's plenty of lessons that you have learned, and run straight from the thing, run straight to the thing that is causing you the greatest anxiety, and that's the way that you can free yourself. Because, as I said, in other decks, the Eight of Swords can almost represent a form of cosmic power. You know, there's, and yes, I'm meaning that in the Marvel superheroes term, but that is the way that I'm thinking it. A connection to so much. Eight is a symbol of infinity. Eight is, it's realizing your own freedom. Now, in my, oh, I've forgotten what it's called. Hang on a minute. Tarot the Healing Light. The Two of Swords in that represents a form of cosmic awareness to me, because the swords are replacing the eyes and almost acting as tuning forks. You know, and the eyes are in the sky and all sorts of things. So, you know, there's lots saying cosmic awareness. And this Eight of Swords is composed of a 2 and a 6. Now that 6 is reflecting your desire to want to get to a better place, and successfully doing so, especially when clarified by the 10 of Cups. Better than wish fulfillment. But the only way you're going to get that better than wish fulfillment is to run straight towards that is causing you the anxiety, because this is what Spirit is saying here. Eight of Swords here as well. So yeah, where you're getting all anxious and all worked up about something, Spirit's helping you do that, although you're doing a hell of a lot of it yourself. But Spirit's patting you on the head and, go on, work yourself up. Go on, you can do it, because you've got to break on through to the other side, to quote whoever it was. Shows my lack of musical knowledge. I know the tune. Hopes and fears. We have Queen of Cups, clarified by the Lovers. This relationship that you began, as I said, whether it's with a person, a project, a job, whatever, you know, a practice, a hobby, an interest, you knew why you was going to do it, and you knew that it was going to have hidden levels to it, but you was doing it from a sense of love. Remember that rationally, even if not emotionally, because that emotional is going to come back. The current difficulties that you are having, the poverty and the sense of loss, the sense of loss is because it hasn't quite worked out the way you was expecting it to, even though you were on the right path. That is, I just want to say, I still feel that you are still on the right path. And it's almost, there's just a little bit of belief adjustment or attitude adjustment, or a little bit of information that needs to come in to make you go, oh, okay, so where I've been feeling so hopeless, it's been worth it all along. That's a good, now there's a good title for the reading as well. It's been worth it all along. I hope I remember. We have Vanth, the caretaker of the lost, who is apparently the embodiment of Hades' mercy, helping forgetful spirits remember where they are supposed to be going and showing them how to get there. Which says a lot about this journey that's going on at the minute. So keep the faith. I think is the best thing that I can say here, because other people are nurturing you towards victory. Allow that to happen. But you're being so miserable that I don't think you're necessarily allowing that influence that is around you to help nurture you towards victory. You've got to make a choice. Are you sticking with your initial dream or not? And I think that the best answer for this is yes, stick with the initial dream, but just accept that it's not going to play out quite how you thought it would. It's in the long run going to play out better. 10 of Cups, better than wish fulfillment. 2 of Cups here in the final outcome. That healing that rift between whatever it is you and whatever it is you was having that relationship with, person, job, being, practice, hobby. I think I've said all this several times. So this is really positive. You're nearly there, Gemini. You are very nearly there. Just keep going. I know you're tired, but you will see the value in this. Right. So if that means anything to you, Gemini, because that's one of those readings. It's either definitely yours or definitely not. If that means anything to you, do comment down below, and I'll see you at the full moon readings probably. Cheers.